the person running it? Yeah, I'm talking about Erica, the one everybody treats like some kind of evangelical Joan of Arc. I used to work under her, and she's not who she pretends to be.
Stop. That's it. That's all I have to say. Stop.
No, I do not. And don't you ever say I did.
And you can see from behind me, this is a recreation of the tent where Charlie Kirk lost his life at Utah University in September, and people are taking selfies with it.
A TPUSA whistleblower just came forward claiming the organization under Erica Kirk has turned into a full-blown psyop, using deep state actors, cult members, and even Scientologists posing as Christians while serving completely different interests behind the scenes. But it gets darker. According to this whistleblower, TPUSA isn't just drifting from Charlie's values. It's become something sinister. That's why so many people were alarmed after AmFest, where they set up a replica of the Charlie Kirk assassination tent and charged people to take photos. And the whistleblower claims this wasn't an accident. They say the culture inside TPUSA shifted hard after Erica took over. Nothing about TPUSA is Christian anymore. Something else is running the show now, and the deeper you look into it, the darker it gets.
Once he was assassinated.
If you needed any more proof that TPUSA is not what it used to be, here it is. A whistleblower just came forward and basically confirmed what a lot of us have been feeling in our gut for a while now, that as soon as Erica Kirk became the CEO, TPUSA did a full 180. I mean, a complete reversal of everything Charlie stood for.
Charlie was worth more dead than alive. And now, Turning Point USA is more powerful than it's ever been. And the person running it? Yeah, I'm talking about Erica, the one everybody treats like some kind of evangelical Joan of Arc. I used to work under her, and she's not who she pretends to be. Charlie figured that out near the end. I think that's why he's gone.
The whistleblower also claimed that Charlie had a plan for TPUSA to pull it back from a hateful ideology that had started creeping in under the banner of Christian values. And apparently, the second Charlie made it clear he wanted to take TPUSA back in a different direction, people inside the organization started undermining him.
He wanted to take us in a new direction, away from the whole Christian Zionist thing. He started saying it out loud, that America's movement needed to stand on its own, that we couldn't just keep doing PR for another country. And that's when everything started changing around him. People he trusted started keeping him out of meetings. His calendar got lost more than once.
The way it was described, Charlie saw that certain people were using religion as a shield, twisting it into something political and unrecognizable, and he wanted to shut that down. By the way, this is something Candace Owens also talked about recently, pointing out that the version of Christianity being pushed by TPUSA right now is fake, toxic, and it's actually anti-Christian.
They believe, and this is why the Christian Zionism thing becomes so important, that they can hijack our emotions and tell us that it's our biblical duty to support the state of Israel, because I think the state of Israel is probably involved in what is happening at the border, in what is happening overseas. It is definitively involved in all these wars. I mean, everywhere you look, Israel pops up.
Now, going back to that whistleblower, they claim TPUSA didn't just drift. It got co-opted by people pretending to be Christians, pretending to care about values, while pushing an agenda that is the exact opposite of what Charlie built.
And here's the other part nobody talks about. The staffing. Almost everyone in senior management, more men. It's not random. The CIA's been recruiting from that pool forever. You know why? Because they're good at compartmentalizing. They can hold two worlds in their head, faith and function, and never let the wires cross. Perfect spooks. Perfect operators. Now, with her at the top, it's all locked down, the money's flowing, Israel is satisfied. And Charlie? He's just a ghost in the machine.
And if you've been paying attention to how TPUSA has been moving since Erica Kirk took over, it's clear people running things now don't believe what they're preaching. They're playing a role, saying the right words, and wearing the right costume. But behind that surface image, they're pushing something completely different. And now there's another whistleblower coming forward and backing up what others have been saying behind the scenes. This one claims there was an entire group inside TPUSA actively working against Charlie. Allegedly, millions of dollars were being moved into the stock market without Charlie's knowledge. And the implication is that these financial decisions were happening outside of his control, without transparency, and without his approval.
I worked for Turning Point USA and Turning Point USA Faith, and I knew Charlie Kirk personally. I want to say on the record that there was a inner circle at Turning Point USA that was constantly working against Charlie and his interests. He had a whole entire branch of Turning Point that he had no idea about, and that was the stock market branch. This stock market group that Turning Point has been throwing millions of dollars into the stock market for the past 4 years now, and Charlie Kirk had no knowledge of that whatsoever.
This whistleblower also said Charlie was actively trying to distance himself from certain foreign donors and a certain country that kept popping up in ways that made him uncomfortable. But that effort didn't go over well. The more Charlie tried to regain control and clean things up, the more resistance he faced from within his own organization.
There was a Jewish influence in Turning Point that he was not very fond of, that he wanted to get rid of. He tried doing this, he tried creating a Doge department, and he gets assassinated.
But this is where things start to get genuinely disturbing for a lot of people. Because once you look at how TPUSA has been operating under Erica Kirk, some of the choices don't just feel off. They feel creepy and demonic. And one of the biggest examples people keep pointing to is what happened at AmFest. There was a full-on replica of the tent where Charlie took his last breath, and they turned it into a photo op, with a ring light included so that people could look their best while posing for photos. And the fact that Erica actually approved to have a replica of the tent where her husband was brutally assassinated and turn it into some kind of fun exhibit, it's not just weird and insensitive. A lot of people are calling it grotesque, morbid, and yes, demonic. But the tent was just one of many disturbing things that took place at this year's TPUSA AmFest. There was also that moment when Jack Posobiec walked out to start his speech, lifting up a rosary. A lot of people felt this felt weirdly performative, with some people even calling it offensive, considering how sketchy Jack Posobiec is. One user on X shared a screenshot of an explanation of how sacred a rosary is to Catholics and how it should not be flaunted or trivialized, which is exactly what Posobiec did. And another person said he's got a bad habit of using the rosary as a prop. Posobiec uses Catholicism for his own self-glorification. But it gets weirder. A lot of people have also pointed out that there was a ton of dark symbolism at AmFest. For example, in this video, you see the opening teaser for Jack Posobiec speaking at AmFest Day 3, and you can see an enlargement of what looks like a dark figure sitting in a circle inside a pentagon. But just when we thought it couldn't get any more sinister, internet users uncovered that TPUSA has now also been infiltrated by Scientologists. TPUSA's official advisory council includes Craig Jensen, founder of Conducive Technologies, who proudly declares on his site, "I became active in Scientology in 1974. It works." So this is a long-time, outspoken Scientologist guiding TPUSA's direction, but it's not just Jensen. There's also Grant Cardone, keynote speaker at AmFest 2025. Now, when it comes to Cardone, he's not just a regular member of the Church of Scientology. He's reached what is known as Operating Thetan Level 8, the highest level in Scientology. And like every Scientologist, Cardone thinks that anyone who criticizes his cult is delusional and ignorant. But believe it or not, there are even more Scientologists in TPUSA. There's John Mappin, who claims to be both Christian and Scientologist. And guess what? Mappin also happens to be one of the names found in Jeffrey Epstein's Little Black Book. So why are all these Scientologists attached to TPUSA? These aren't fringe guests. These are advisory board members and star speakers influencing TPUSA's youth movement. Scientology's history of aggressive recruitment, financial demands, and controversial practices makes this influence deeply concerning. This isn't the transparency Charlie pushed for. And also, let's not forget that the Church of Scientology has hit teams and will destroy you if you get in the way. These people are well connected and have pretty much unlimited money. In fact, the founder of Scientology, L. Ron Hubbard, had ties to U.S. intelligence agencies himself. That alone should tell you everything you need to know. And after seeing what happened at this year's AmFest, a lot of people are saying TPUSA is literally copying Scientology tactics for manipulation. One user commented, "This is insane. This is a Scientology level production. Look at a Scientology conference and compare. TPUSA is now officially a cult. Charlie Kirk is L. Ron Hubbard, and I think Erica Kirk is David Miscavige." And someone else added, "Scientology like cult. TPUSA died with Charlie. You're all for money, power, and care nothing about truth." And that's the part that a lot of Charlie's own supporters keep saying, that TPUSA died with Charlie. And whatever this thing is now under Erica Kirk, it's the complete opposite of what Charlie stood for. People who followed Charlie from the beginning are saying this feels like the movement has been co-opted by those same forces that bullied and threatened Charlie before his assassination. And some fans are even going even further than that and saying this all feels like a mockery of Charlie's legacy. It's like they're rubbing it it in that Charlie is gone, and now they can continue lying and grifting without anyone stopping them.